All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we were anticipating to be finishing up the Versetta Stone. However, I have some bad news. I also have some good news, but bad news to start. All the Versetta Stone that you've seen, if you've been following along in the build, everything you've seen on the last video, that all has to come back off. I wasn't happy with the flashing at the bottom of the stone. I really liked how the stone went on the building, but I'm not happy with the flashing. I thought I could seal it up properly after the stone was up, and it's just not working out how I thought it would and what I like. So we're gonna try a different avenue, and I'm gonna bring that to you today as well. The good news is the stone was all put on with screws, so it can all come back off, and my goal with that is to kind of have it organized as I take it back off of the building so that it goes back on in the same spot to minimize any kind of cutting, changing. It should be a relatively easy process as long as I stay organized. But without much further ado, let's show you what I'm not happy with and why I'm redoing it. All right, I am at the front of the building here, and I have a small section in between my garage doors here that's finished all the way down. And I think it came out pretty nice for the most part, but the one thing I don't like is underneath here, you can kind of see, you can see the house wrap there. This is a small, almost like a gasket underneath the bottom girt board. It's a piece of foam, and that is exposed, which also, if you look really close, some of my wood, it's kind of hard to see, but up in here is exposed as well. And this is a treated girt board up underneath there, but I don't like the way this looks. So what my goal today is, we're gonna take this section of stone off and bend some aluminum flashing, some black aluminum flashing to put underneath here to cover this crack up. And we'll see how it works. The goal is to get it tucked up in behind the house wrap, kind of like I did the second weather barrier underneath the stone, where it's overlapping and kind of shingled down where the water would funnel out. So we'll see how this works. I got a new tool today, and I'll show you, I guess, my struggles with that as I learn how to use it. I can tell you one thing with this coil stock here, and there it goes. It is very sharp, so you have to be very careful when you're working with it. Wow, that unrolled much easier than I thought it was going to. All right, let's see if we can get some measurements here. So we're gonna cut this 32 inches long. Now, I think I'm gonna try to bend this before I rip it down the middle, just because I think hanging onto it will be a little bit better. This guy has a gauge on it, so I know exactly what my bend will be. So let's go ahead and make this a 2-inch bend. Maybe this will make a little more sense once I get the bend made here. Okay, so that should be 2 inches. So this should just fit right in there. Oh, interesting. pretty nice bend. It's not quite 90. Let's see if I can go a little more with it. I like it. So far, so good. Let's just give it another little, I think, a little more of a bend. Okay, there's my first bend. Now let's see if we can do the 1 inch. And I see I made a mistake already. I should have had this flipped over. You got 2 rollers. One sets out a little higher than the other one. The lower set is actually the set that gets you your 1 inch. I can see I'm just over 1 inch now. Probably like 1 1/8. So I should have flipped it, but that's okay, we're learning. Let's flip it over once here. I think it may roll a little better with the other side. Oh yeah, it rolls much easier. If you can see that, that's what I'm shooting for, a Z-flash bend. Now I'm gonna rip this and we'll go put it on and see what it looks like. I'm actually very happy with that. You just have to keep in mind with the roll, you have these small rollers here as well, and I guess those need to be on the appropriate side to help it. I could feel it kind of binding up when I didn't have it in there the right way. These rollers must help with that as well. Plus the fact that the shorter side here is the side that needs to go with the bend. You kind of, once you do it once, you kind of get the idea behind it. But yeah, it worked pretty good so far. So let's get this ripped and get it up there and see what it looks like. All right, so there's what I just bent, and I think it looks pretty good actually. And this is going to go right on the bottom, and I think I'm just going to use a couple of my leftover screws from my roof. Those are a stainless, so I won't get any corrosion between the dissimilar metals. So let's grab some of those. full disclosure here, I took this section off a second time and put it back on just to get this bottom piece really the way I wanted it. And you can kind of see here, I actually got kind of fancy here and bent the corner around, and that trim piece is tucked up underneath there. It hides the little gap that I have with my girt boards, and I think it looks nice. And that's what I'm gonna do, going all the way around the building. So we're gonna take all this stone off around the sides. You can kind of see how much I have done. Pretty much the whole building done, but it's gonna look so much better and I'm gonna feel better. And you can kind of see here what I'm talking about. If I zoom in, let's see if I can zoom in here. Just that little bit of a gap underneath, right underneath there, is what I'm trying to hide. I don't think weather is going to be a concern. Again, it's a treated board. I left the OSB up off of the concrete, so we don't have any capillary action and the moisture from the concrete going up into the wood. And my treated girt board on the bottom, you know, it's treated, so it's going to last a long time. And on these pole barns, the barns, when people put up barns, shops, garages and stuff, that girt board is the grade board. So you many times have dirt up against that, and I'm up above that. Plus I have that weather stripping underneath, so I don't have any wood touching any concrete. But I do have that gap, and we're gonna get this sealed up. I think that flashing is gonna make it look nice underneath there and hide that little bit of a crack that we have. But yeah, all this stone has to come back off. Finished up the flashing yesterday. Thought I'd give you a little quick look at the finished product. This was the side that was really noticeable, and the building kind of sets up on a hill. So when you're walking down here, this is almost at eye level, and I really wanted to dress it up a little bit, give it a little more curb appeal, so to speak, and I think this trim does the trick. It's just a nice finished touch, I think, all the way around the building. The only piece I have left to do is down by the man door here. Once I get the door put in, we'll go ahead and finish those little pieces of flashing there. But otherwise, it's all done. Very easy to do, and I'm glad I did it. All right, next video, we're kind of in a holding pattern here. So next video, we'll probably get started on the house here, make good use of our time. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.